Episod pertama ni, kami akan ceritakan serba sedikit tentang asas permainan PUBG Mobile.
PUBG adalah sebuah permainan online. Hai guys, kita kembali dalam episod kedua Bikin Sampai Jadi PUBG Mobile bersama Team Secret, di mana saya akan ceritakan serba sedikit tentang bagaimana cara anda boleh bermain PUBG Mobile dan seterusnya melatih korang menjadi seorang pemain profesional. Sebelum kita bermula, pastikan korang tengok video ni sampai habis sebab kami ada segmen istimewa untuk anda semua. Jom kita start. From basic, we will teach you how to improve your settings to advanced level. In the advanced level, you will learn to become a better pro player. And you tweak these settings based on your reflex, your comfortability, and your playability. So on this segment, we will teach you the first settings is to familiarize your finger layout. Basically, there's a 2-finger, 3-finger, 4-finger, and 5 layout. So for basic one, for newbie player, they will use a 2-finger layout. The default layout would be 2-finger. Basically, it will be somewhat like this. So as you can see, this is the default layout. On your left, my screen here, this is where you move. Your one finger will be the thumb, left thumb, and the right thumb. So left thumb will control your movement and also your fire button on the left. Whereas on the right side, you have to shoot on your right finger for hip fire while you move and for you to turn on your scope. So if you were to turn on your scope, you wouldn't be able to shoot. Therefore, you will need your left thumb to actually open fire. Disadvantages of 2-finger. It makes your movement less fluid and a slower reflex, I would say. And then let's move on to the 3-finger layout. Basically, I will move this layout over here. The most basic and frequent people use would be like that. They will turn their scope over here. Let me make it bigger. My lean. Yep, and this is a movement, my fire button on the top left. I just have to press, using my right thumb to press the scope on. And then I use my right thumb to open the scope, and then my left index finger to shoot. This is the basic one. My layout personally would be the 4-finger layout. And this is my layout. So basically, it will be the 3-finger on the left and 1-finger on the right. So how we're going to do this is that we practice shooting on the head. The most frequent high reflex players use 5-finger layout. And why is it so? Because it maximizes the fluidity of the player's movement. So let's take a look at this. This layout is actually by Ayuh from Team Secret. So basically what he does is actually his left finger is almost the same. The middle finger is to fire, his index finger is to crouch, and his left thumb is to move around. His right thumb is actually to control his hip fire and his lean, and his right index is to open scope. The gameplay somehow would be somehow like this. So instead of me using a finger to crouch and open scope in 2 different motions, I get to do all of this in 1 motion. And I get to fire as well. Okay guys, let's familiarize the controls and play in your most comfortable settings. First and foremost, let's start with gyro vs non-gyro. So for gyro vs non-gyro, basically you will turn on your gyro scope over here on the setting under basics, close, scope on, and always on. So for difference is gyroscope close, you basically just use your fingers to move. Your phone does nothing to control recoil. It's more consistent for snipers, for instance. Even though I have shaky hands, it doesn't matter. I'm always consistent at one spot. There's also another mode for gyro, which is scope on, which is, it doesn't matter if you do a hip fire, your gyro is not on, but only when you turn on your scope, then gyro is on. But most players, because of fast reflex, we will go to always on. And then that's where we do our movement. Advantages of gyro is that it make it easier for you to control your recoil. Let's say I use a 6x scope. I'm going to change it to 6x scope. Okay, and I put it 3. If I'm not using gyro, my gun recoil will be like this. But if I'm using gyro, all I have to do is just to tune my phone downwards and I'll get this. So this is the difference between a non-gyro player and a gyro player. Of course, non-gyro player, he'll be able to control recoil as well, but he has to drag his finger downwards, like that. So next, we're going to talk about the sensitivity and camera ADS. Why is it important? Because in the sensitivity, we get to be comfort and shooting accurately. Once you're shooting at a far range with the scope, so once you're shooting accurately at this scope, at this point, when you have the right sensitivity, all you do is just like drag down your gun, your ADS. So this is the enemy, for instance. So some people, they prefer low sensitivity. Why? Because of sniper, long range, long distance gun. So let's say I take our M24, the bolt action rifle, and I go to a scope. If I have a high sensitivity, I will be, my hand will be shaking, and then I will not be very accurate. See, but if I have low sensitivity, I'll be able to control a comfortable sensitivity. I would say I'll be able to control very consistently. So basically, there's different modes. The most frequent will be the TPP, which is the third-person perspective, and the first-person perspective. So the main difference would be based on the screen. So this is the third-person perspective. The camera will be right behind the character, so you'll be able to move around and see a 360 view. So another significant difference between FPP and TPP would be, this is FPP. So you wouldn't be able to do a 360 view. You'll be only stuck like a first person at 180 degree. But you have a wider range, you get to see it clearer. Alright guys, this is a little bit about ADS and gyro control. So there's no ultimatum, there's no best gyro settings, there's no such thing as best finger layout. It's only for your most comfort. So whatever you use, whether it's a 3-finger, a 2-finger, 4-finger or 5-finger layout, or a high sensitivity gyro or low sensitivity gyro, as long as you're comfortable with it and you can do what we do, you can lean, you can crouch, you can shoot, you can scope and protect yourself, that's the most important part. So play within your comfort zone, and it's no harm trying, and always train hard. On the next episode, we're going to share more tips on how you're going to use your weapon, control your weapon mastery, and also how you're going to use your car, your vehicle to the maximum. I'm pretty sure you guys have been waiting long, so let's go to the next bonus segment. Kalau saya nak formal ke tak formal? Kalau formal ni saya berlabur lah. Dan kalau tak formal dia pergi Paris, lepas tu shopping.
First sekali saya akan bayar semua hutang saya. Lepas tu saya nak pergi Holland, Netherlands.
Nasi lemak.
Nasi lemak
Nasi lemak.
Nasi lemak Y2K. Y2K punya nasi lemak is the best.
Sama, Y2K punya nasi lemak. Yes. That's it for today in this episode. Hope you guys got more chicken dinner. Stay tuned every 2 weeks only on Facebook. Jangan lupa untuk dapatkan Prabayar Hotlink Tanpa Had, Semuanya Tanpa Had. Kita bikin sampai jadi.